Feelings are not facts. They are data trying to get your attention. Hey, it's Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, breadwinner, recovering hustler, and stage 4 cancer survivor. I'm not a fan of that term, by the way. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being, just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this podcast is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life, both at home and in your work. It doesn't matter if you stay at home full time, if you work from home, you're a CEO, a successful business owner, or trying to find some inspiration. On this show, I attempt to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh. You may even cry, and you may even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your child's behavior, your health, or a relationship. And when we learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. It's time to put your big girl pants on and find your brave. Let's go. All right, everyone, welcome to the podcast. And wherever you are in the world, you may be feeling different things. So through the last 3 months, 6 months, who the heck knows? I don't even know what day and time it is right now. We've been collectively experiencing similar events on different scales. So the quote that I've mentioned a few times, which is not mine, and I do not know who to credit: we are all in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. The reason why I say this is because we all have our own experiences, our own traumas, our own education or lack of education, our own triggers. And I wanted to start this conversation today talking about how to manage your shit, your big emotions, while holding other people's emotions. I'm not going to tiptoe around this conversation. I'm talking about what is currently going on in the world, which is, and I'm taking the stand, Black Lives Matter. Today's podcast is not about my perspective. You can go back 2 podcasts ago where I talk about taking a side and why I think it's really important that we do. But what I'm observing, and I am not a activist, I am one human being who talks about women feeling in control of their lives. And the more uncomfortable we get, the more we can grow into the capacity that we were meant to grow. And by the way, the work is never done. The work is never done. So before I dive into today's podcast, I want to let you know that if you're wondering, where do I start? How do I do this work on myself regarding privilege, white privilege? How do I take a stand for other people? Where do I donate? How do I vote? If you can vote. I want you to go to my Instagram. It's Heather Chauvin _ and just look under the Black Lives Matter post that I have there. There's some accounts to follow. Also, if you go into my Instagram, the link in my Instagram bio, there's a resource page there. It is a Google Doc. I did not create it. It's been floating around the internet, and it's all about anti-racist anti-racism resources for parents. So it talks about podcasts and books, websites, things like that, where you can gather resources. Once you start getting into those resources and start following, I only put a few people on my post, you can then begin going down the rabbit hole and finding your own resources and people that you connect with. The only other thing I'm going to say today is that I just highly encourage you to do something rather than turn a blind eye and look away. Because when we are afraid of judgment, when we're afraid of saying the wrong thing, when we're afraid of ridicule or feedback or being called a racist or hurting somebody, when you have good intentions of not harming somebody, you're not a bad person. And remember, the more you put yourself out there into the world, the more you speak your truth, regardless if it's on this topic or any other topic, taking a stand for your own life, you will get feedback and it won't always feel good. So here's the conversation I want to have today is how do you handle that when you don't know how to manage big emotions? So, one, I'm just going to encourage you again and again to please step into the arena. You need to take a side. You need to understand. I'm not here to convince you of why you need to believe that Black Lives Matter. I believe this is not about an all lives matter. This is about a particular group of individuals who have been trying to be heard, seen, and understood and have equity and equality and rights for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so we're not talking about everybody right now. At this moment in time, we are talking about one group of people. All lives matter. Yes, they do. But particularly right now, there is one group that is trying to gain justice and trying to get their voices heard. And when we focus our energy and attention on that, when you truly believe it, we can amplify those voices. So today, I am not sharing this podcast to amplify those voices. I'm having another conversation today. My commitment is to begin to amplify voices and also dig deeper into this topic, but also in other topics that I've been avoiding having conversations around because it takes work. And it's my own personal work, but also work behind the scenes. And in order to create capacity for that, I just got to do things differently. So the reason why I'm saying this as well is because in the bigger picture, sustainability is key. Sustainability in everything in your life takes capacity. And if you say, I don't have time for this, this is another issue why I talk about the importance of feeling in control of your life, creating a sustainable life, because we therefore busy ourselves. We are addicted to busy. We are addicted to avoiding because it takes away the pain and discomfort of vulnerability and fear and overwhelm. So when you choose to live a conscious life, when you choose to step into the arena, when you choose to begin to feel in control of every aspect of your life, you will get incredibly uncomfortable. And that discomfort is your shit. So I want you to visualize yourself standing in a circle with a whole bunch of different people. And every single person in that group is of a different race and background. And there's no two same people, right? It's not a group of white people. It's not a group of black people. Everyone's different. They have different experiences, different races, different cultures, different socioeconomic status. Now, I want you to visualize yourself looking down in this circle, and there is a circle around you. Maybe it is formed, with some chalk around you if you're on asphalt. Let's pretend we're all on asphalt. And just like if you're in the playground at a school, someone has taken a piece of chalk and they have put it around you. So you are standing in this circle and you are the only person in this little tiny circle. Okay? But then there's the bigger circle of people that are standing in a circle together. Every single person in that circle has their own circle around them. So this is what I don't know what I'm going to call this, but this is where everyone's standing in their own crap, right? So if I'm angry, if I'm sad, if I'm frustrated, if I'm uncomfortable as a white woman by what is happening in the world, guess whose problem that is? Mine. It is not the problem of a black person who has triggered me with their words or comments or anything that they have said to make me uncomfortable, because they have triggered something within me, and that my trigger is mine to process. So that other person, regardless of who they are, if they're angry inside of their circle, right? If they're angry, if they're frustrated, if they're like so tired, if they're like just pissed off, and that's what's in their circle, and they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be understood, and they are so fucking done censoring themselves for the world, which is what's happening right now, and they pour that out, right? So they've opened up their circle, and they are now just pouring that circle onto other people. They have the right to do that. Okay? I'm not getting in a debate and a conversation about they have a right to hurt other people. I do not believe in physical harm. I do not believe in murder. I do not believe in all of those things. But what I am saying is when you can become untriggered and see the behavior of the other person as a teacher or a lesson for you, that's when you begin to become non-defensive and do the work on yourself. So I want you to imagine you have your circle and you have your triggers within your circle, and that person's crap is coming towards you, okay? That person's emotion and feeling is coming towards you. Defensiveness is when you put up a shield to defend yourself so that you do not receive their backlash. You do not receive their truth. You do not receive their pain. And I advocate for this. But sometimes we need to open the door and we need to feel it a little bit. We need to break that circle so that we can let a little bit of that in, so that it can trigger us, so that it can shake us up. Because when we allow other people to trigger us, it shows us where we need to do the work. And you will know based on your emotional reaction, you will know based on your relationships, you will know based on how you treat yourself, you will know based on how much money's in your bank account, you will know based on the success or lack of success in your business, you will know how you feel regarding your work. Everything will be mirrored back to you in your life. Okay? You might have to listen to today's podcast multiple times. So if you're triggered up and you feel shame around who you are, that shame was always there. Nobody made you feel that way. Let me repeat that again. That shame was always there. They just shook it up. Nobody can give that to you. It was already inside of you. If you are being called a racist, and that triggers you, there is racism in all of us. If you are being triggered feeling like you're not enough, that was already inside of you. If fear is being triggered, nobody made you afraid. That was already inside of you. So the truth is, this is why you need to know how to control your big emotions, because you cannot effectively create change if you are defensive all the time. Defensive towards your children's behavior, defensive towards worldly events, defensive towards feedback, defensive towards anything. You have to learn how to process your big emotion. You have to learn how to feel it. You have to learn how to process it. And then step 3. You have to effectively learn how to feel good when everything else around you is falling apart. Because that is sustainability. This is what energetic time management is. This is where you really start doing the work and saying, okay, these people around me, this is effective leadership. This is mindful leadership. People around you are suffering. They're angry. They're frustrated. They're dying. They don't need you to die with them. They need you to fuel your sadness, to fuel your shame, to fuel your I'm not enoughness, and to do fucking something about it. Take it, process it, and then ask yourself, how can I be better? How can I do better? How can I feel better? And then to take a stand for the life and the woman that you want to become and the children that you want to raise, and to step into that version of you. And that version of you is going to be stronger. She is going to be more aligned. She is going to be wiser. She is going to be more effective. She is going to be more open. She is going to be more diverse. She is going to be more sustainable. She's going to have more money, more time, and more energy. But if you believe that you are powerless, if you believe you are not enough, if you just sit and stew in your shame because that's what's inside of your circle, and you are not willing to open that and to step outside of the circle, you will always sit in your shit. I have 2 calls of action for you today. If you are avoiding looking at your privilege, it's time. It's time to get uncomfortable. It's time to have those conversations. It is time to stand there naked and afraid, being open to feedback. Because knowing that that feedback that you might be receiving is true, and some of it may not be. That might just be a projection of somebody else's perception of who you are. And when you receive it, you can say, thank you for sharing. Let me lean into that and see what my truth is. Because when I started this process, I didn't understand a lot. I still do not. And when we get defensive, we're closing ourselves off to learning. So that's my invitation for you today. Step 2. If you are not only ready to become this person on a humanitarian level, but also on a personal and professional level, and you've been sitting on the fence, now is the time to act. So we have our Mastery Accelerator open. And if you go to heatherchauvin.com/business, this round is for women in business, or women who want to start a business but have the skill already. So you know what you want to do in the world. You may not have 100% clarity on it, but you're not completely lost with it. You know what that itch is. You know it's somewhere in there, and you may have already started to form a community around it. So my ask of you today is, if you are that woman, I invite you to join me on June 19th. And as soon as you register, you gain access to 3 pre-recorded modules that you would literally start today. It's the Aligned Workshop, helping you get super crystal clear on who you want to be and how you want to show up in your life. Energetic Time Management, which is going to transform how you become, how you show up as a leader, as a mother, as a wife, as a business owner, as a partner, as a friend, as a sister, as an ally, as a colleague, every single day. and the transformational sales process, which is going to help you. It doesn't matter if you're selling lipstick, coaching, consulting, insurance. I don't care what you're doing. This isn't about the product or service that you sell. This is about the why behind it and the pain points, and this is truly how we create transformation. So these are 3 pre-recorded trainings that you get to watch again and again and again. And then on June 19th, you're coming in and we're going to do a whole day together. It's a coaching intensive. We're going to be hanging out from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come and go as you please, but I highly encourage you to show up for the whole time. And that's it. This is where we create magic. This is how we are going to change the world. Not by sitting there pretending that you don't matter. You do matter. And if you're not sure if this is yet right for you, I want you to head on over to Instagram, find me at @HeatherChauvin_ and send me a message, and we can engage in a dialogue. Or go to the page, heatherchauvin.com/business. Find the email on that page, which is support, SUPPORT, @heatherchauvin.com, and we can continue the conversation. You are not alone, but change in your world does not happen unless you do something about it.